Hi, I'm Anna Durfee.
I'm Ali Kazmir.
I'm Sadusha Macharya.
And today we're unboxing books
from our high school.
The first book we are analyzing is The Importance of Being Earnest, which centers around the main character Jack, who lives a double life, who frequently pretends to go take care of his make-believe brother Ernest when he's actually going out and partying and doing other things. So let's see what we have. This is the first thing. The first symbol we are analyzing are the cucumber sandwiches. These look good, I'm not going to lie. The cucumber sandwiches are a symbol for overindulgence in the play. When the cucumber sandwiches are placed in front of Algernon, he cannot stop eating them, even though he knows he is not supposed to. The cucumber sandwiches also represent hypocrisy, because Algernon forbids Jack to eat any, even though Algernon himself is supposed to save the sandwiches for Lady Bracknell. And this is the second thing we have in the box. The second symbol we are analyzing in The Importance of Being Earnest are double lives. Both Jack and Algernon live double lives in the play. In Victorian middle and upper classes, visiting the poor and sick was considered a public duty. When Jack goes to the city to live his double life, his excuse is that he's visiting his out-of-control brother Ernest. When Algernon goes to live a double life, his excuse is that he is visiting his sick friend Bunbury. This is ironic because both Jack and Algernon are pretending to be good citizens when they're actually in a loophole of deception. So next up, we have The Heart of Darkness, which follows a character Marlowe who's traveling through the Congo in Africa. Unfortunately, I don't know where the box for this went, so I'll be right back. The first symbol we're going to brush over is fog. In the book, Marlowe gets stuck in the fog and cannot see where he's going. In turn, he does not know what is around him. The fog is a parallel to the darkness, but the fog is different because it is distorting. Marlowe explains that the fog can falsely make one think something is there when there's nothing. One quote from the book is, "In some ways, fog is worse than darkness, because it shows us just enough to make bad decisions." Another symbol in The Heart of Darkness is the river that separates the Europeans from the Africans. Marlowe's journey to African civilization is upstream of the river, which is the journey all of the Europeans have to take. This is symbolic of nature's resistance to the Europeans invading African territory. It is difficult for the Europeans to enter African civilization, but it is easy for them to leave. So next up we have The Catcher in the Rye, which is about a boy named Holden Caulfield who was expelled from his school, and it follows the next 2 days after that. So first we have this. In the book, Holden wears a red hat on many occasions. Most notably, he wears it after he's expelled from school and after he loses his team's fencing equipment. The hat helps him hide and isolate himself when bad things happen. He buys the hat after losing the equipment and hopes to avoid harsh comments from his peers. Holden, in general, struggles with the balance between self-expression and conforming with society. Then we have this. In The Catcher in the Rye, Holden is very fascinated with the ducks and how they make it through the cold, harsh winter. The ducks represent Holden's fear of change because he worries about the effect of the winter. Since Holden himself is afraid of change, he marvels at how the ducks endure the change into the winter season every year. In addition, the ducks represent childhood innocence because Holden is worried for their well-being.
These two boxes are from Blanche in A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams, which centers around Blanche coming home from Mississippi as a former school teacher to New Orleans to live with her sister Stella and Stella's husband, Stanley. Up first, we have a light bulb. Now to begin, light bulbs are typically associated with light. Light shines through, which symbolizes the blinding truth which cannot be hidden. Blanche had a strong disdain for light, and every time she was near light, she would try to avoid it at all cost, especially when any male character was present. She wanted to conceal her truth, which was her age and her appearance. Blanche yearned to remain youthful, and to keep this facade intact, she hid her truth by only going on dates outside or at night in dimly lit spaces. Next up, we have a paper lantern. Segueing to our next item, the paper lantern, similar to the one that Blanche used to cover the light bulb. Physically putting the lantern over the light gives a clear vision to the audience of Blanche trying to cover the truth. This further shows that Blanche rather live in her illusion of reality that she has made in her head, rather than face the harsh truth of reality itself, indicating the decline of her mental health. When Blanche reaches out screaming while Stanley is trying to take the lantern off the light bulb, it's the last step of Blanche crossing into entire sanity. The lantern serves as a physical object, conveying how Blanche attempts to ensure all of her truths remain concealed through the use of the light bulb and lantern throughout the entire play. Next up, we have 2 boxes from To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, which follows the story of Atticus, who is a black man that is a lawyer who is taking on the task of defending another black man named Tom Robinson, who was accused of rape. First up, we have A Mockingbird. Here we have a mockingbird. In general, mockingbirds are a symbol of innocence, since they sing their melodies and do not harm anyone, just spreading nature's beauty wherever they stop to sing. The mockingbird represents the innocence not being protected throughout the story. Tom Robinson is the innocent mockingbird, yet his life was demolished and ruined because the system that is meant to protect could not defend the innocent, hence making the title of the story an essential symbol to the character of Tom Robinson. The next box, we have A Mad Dog. Following the mockingbird, we have the Mad Dog. This dog was shot and killed by Atticus, since it had wandered onto the streets with rabies. Everyone else on Atticus's street was too afraid and locked themselves in their house while Atticus remained outside. The Mad Dog, being sick, alludes to the sickness of racism, which is similar to how rabies makes a dog different and not fit in. Avoiding the problem of the dog is a parallel to the town's take on racism by avoiding it completely when Atticus attempts to speak out. Atticus being the divide between protecting his children, who also stayed outside with him, from the dog by killing it represents the divide Atticus lives by trying to protect his children from the racism of the town, but also doing what is right, even when nobody else is willing to step up and take on that risk. Similarly to him defending Tom Robinson, when everyone else was already sure that there was nothing to be done to save him. Just like this unboxing, the red sled was the first memory the giver gave to Jonas. The color red has a variety of meanings, but in this instance, red symbolizes the essential feelings that Jonas is about to harbor inside of him to keep the community together. As the giver passes the memory to Jonas, he has Jonas contemplate the similarities between snow piling up on the sled, slowing it down, to the difficulties of the task trying to weigh him down. He then uses the sled's thrilling ride down the slope as a moment of hope for Jonas, to show him that not every aspect of the job is a burden. The sled going up and down the slope, slowing and speeding up, represents the journey that Jonas is about to endure with his new power, along with the training that the giver is going to pass down to him. He will then realize that although some moments are enjoyable, they can also be painful or treacherous. Similar to getting a broken leg from the sled and losing control, he can harm himself if he does not learn to control his power well. Next up, we have the apple. As Jonas throws this apple with his friend, he sees it change to the color red. Red again is used to further enhance the fact that Jonas does not fit in to the sameness of the community. Having the ability to see change is a key aspect foreshadowing the changes he will go through while having an awakening of his community. Seeing beyond the sameness and realizing that change and diversity are not as bad as the community perceives it. As Jonas grows with his journey, he has the observation that change is inevitable, that change allows everyone to adapt and develop.
Okay, so the first book I'm going to start off with is A Midsummer's Night Dream, and this book is about how the wrong people fall in love with each other due to circumstances beyond their control, aka a fairy named Puck. So the first one we're going to start with, the first symbol is a love potion. Okay, so the love potion. In the Midsummer's Night Dream, the love potion is used through the pansy flower. So basically you sprinkle the sap of the flower onto someone who's sleeping, and when they wake up, they fall in love with the next person that they see. And this shows how love is unpredictable and irrational in the book. For instance, throughout the course of the book, the lovers are separated from one another and have the love potions which make them gravitate towards someone else. Loving someone is beyond their will, so they fall in love with whoever. And this is done multiple times. For instance, the main couple falls in love with other people due to the love potion, showing how love can change from one person to the next, and you never know who's going to end up with who. And the next symbol is going to be a picture of the moon. Okay, so the moon represents a change in behavior in this book, and the meaning of the moon is different for every character. For instance, a character named Titania realizes how destructive the moon is because she realizes how the moon kind of acts like a drug to humans, changing their behavior and making them feel kind of hypnotized. But this is different from the fairies in the book because the moon causes them to be more confident to rule over the humans because it doesn't have that hypnotizing effect over them. Midsummer's Night Dream. The next object is from that book, but used as a symbol in a different movie. So the first object is Puck's crown. Can you guess what movie it is? I'll give you like 3 seconds. Yes, it's Dead Poets Society. Okay, so a little refresher on Dead Poets Society. It is about a group of boys that, inspired by their teachers, form a secret club to express themselves fully. But things kind of take a turn once their club is found out. And the movie is kind of sad, but it's really good from what I remember. So the first symbol is Puck's crown. Okay, so the first symbol, Puck's crown, represents sacrifice in the story. The main character wears the crown during a play and during his suicide. This character was passionate about theater, but his parents were against his dreams, which is why he committed suicide. He sacrificed himself so that the dreams of the others in the club could continue to come true, so that they did not need to do what he had to do. The crown symbolizes how he sacrificed himself for the purpose of allowing others to follow their art and passion. And then the second symbol is a candle. Okay, so the second symbol, the candle, represents the light of knowledge being passed down. For instance, when the students first enter the school, the candle is placed in the school unlit, but once it is lit, they start going to their classes to start their learning. It symbolizes knowledge as the students are being taught the knowledge that is passed down to them from their teacher, and this includes the teacher giving them encouragement to think independently and learn from themselves, which can stimulate different types of learning that the students can use to further pass down that light and that knowledge. Okay, so the last book we will be unboxing is going to be Symbols from the Outsiders. You know, the one with all the hot guys in motorcycles and leather jackets? No, but for real, the book is also about a group of boys, specifically a boy named Ponyboy, that struggles with the rules of society and believes he's an outsider because he's from the wrong part of town. It also deals with interactions between the upper class, named Socias, and the lower class greasers, who are Ponyboy and his siblings. So the first symbol we have is a sunset and a sunrise. Don't judge the picture, guys. Okay, so the last symbol I'll be going over for the unboxing is the sunset/sunrise, which symbolizes unity and connection in the outsiders. So the sunset/sunrise is something that connects the two social groups in the book. For instance, when Ponyboy, a greaser, talks to a social girl named Cherry, they bond over the sunset, saying how despite being on opposite sides of town, they both witness the same sunset no matter where they come from. So no matter their social differences, it is something that connects them to one another and proves they are the same. So my poorly drawn picture on the right is trying to depict that. As you can see, we have Cherry on the left and Ponyboy on the right, and they're in different parts of town, but they are looking up into the same sunset, proving that they are connected despite their social differences. And the next symbol we have is the book Gone with the Wind. Alright, so the first symbol is the book Gone with the Wind. So this book is used in The Outsiders to symbolize the comfort of true friendship between Ponyboy and Johnny. So Ponyboy and Johnny bond over this book when Johnny buys it for Ponyboy after Ponyboy talks about how much he wants to read it. They read the book together in church and pretend they are the southern gentlemen described in this book whenever they have acted heroically. But when Johnny dies, Ponyboy can't read the book anymore because the book symbolized their friendship and the close time they would spend together reading this book. If Ponyboy read it, it would feel like a betrayal to Johnny because of that bond that they shared over this book.